Welcome to the story of how Twitter was born, beginning with the very first tweet. Since I was very small, I've been fascinated by how cities work. I always got really excited when I thought about visualizing them, specifically around maps. What would you place on a map to show how a city worked? In St. Louis, where he grew up, Jack first noticed the existence of something he found magical: couriers. I loved couriers. You had this transfer of physical information happening throughout the city and the world. Someone picking up the package, putting it in a bag, going somewhere, taking it out of the bag, giving it to someone else. I thought that was so cool. I wanted to map it, to see that flow on a big screen. When I did some research into how courier systems worked, I found that there was a parallel information transfer that was digital, and it was called dispatch, which was just a coordination effort. Jack so loved the idea of digitally mapping interactions around a city and the notion of couriers as a physical manifestation of these interactions that he decided to start a bicycle courier service of his own at the age of 16. I put my brother and me on bikes just so I could write the dispatch software. In the second year of an engineering program at the Missouri University of Science and Technology, he came across a New York City-based company called Dispatch Management Services Corporation, which managed dispatch centers for courier on foot, bicycles, and motorcycles. Jack wanted to work there so bad, he finally got to meet the chairman, Greg Kidd, and secured the job. He moved to New York, transferred to NYU, and started writing dispatch software for DMSC. At DMSC, Jack delved deeper into his fascination with dispatch and couriers. There was an essence of communication there, he described, an abstraction. You have all these entities roaming about, and they're all reporting what they're doing in real time over a variety of different devices. We had couriers on CB, Citizens Band radios, on PDAs, personal digital assistants, and on cell phones. We had taxis and emergency vehicles with GPS. They're all reporting constantly where they are and what work they're doing, and it's all FLOing into this one system that a dispatcher can view in real time on a map. That's what's going on in the city. I thought that abstraction was so cool that I wanted that same thing for my friends. Jack and Greg decided they could improve on the DMSC dispatch system. In 1998, they moved to the West Coast and raised enough money to found DNet, Dispatch Network. We wanted to do a web-centric dispatch system that would essentially provide an ATM for couriers, most of whom don't have bank accounts, so they could easily draw their commissions through the web. While he was working to get DNet off the ground, Jack discovered instant messaging. IM is interesting because you look at your buddy list and, at a glance, see what your friends are listening to, what they're working on, what they're doing. The problem was that you were bound to the computer keyboard. I was fortunate enough to have a RIM 850, the predecessor to the BlackBerry. It was this squat little email device. One night, I couldn't sleep. I just had to write a prototype script. It would sit on a server, take incoming emails, broadcast them out to a list, and also record them in a database that I could view on the web. That was the first glimmer of Twitter. He realized DNet could not get enough traction on the market, so he decided to embark on a new journey, joining a podcast startup called Audio, with Evan Williams, the formerly of Google. That time, one of my coworkers introduced me to SMS short message service, which I had never seen before. She used it all the time. Once I saw that, I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. This communication blew my mind, and the way she was using it blew my mind. I thought, what if we simply set status, archive it on the web, use SMS to do it, and we all kind of went into a corner, wrote out a bunch of user scenarios, and started inviting coworkers in. They fell in love with it. We knew we had something. 12:50 p.m. of March 21st, 2006. The very first tweet was tweeted. Just setting my TWTTR that we now know as Twitter. Jack started twitting innocuously. This was the beginning of the Twitter revolution. This video was inspired by the book Mastering the VC Game. And according to this book, Jack pursued a strategy very similar to Christoph's strategy with Sertris, which is another story. Don't hide what you're doing and worry about operating stealthily. If you think you're doing something interesting, get it out in the open, shout it out from the rooftops, and solicit as much feedback and input as possible. This strategy was particularly relevant for an internet-based consumer service like Twitter. The initial reviews after the launch were mixed. One blogger reacted negatively, calling it the dumbest thing ever. Who would want all their personal text messages on a public website for anyone to read and track? And the rest was history